Dano's Seasoning is changing the world one table at a time by offering the best all-natural, low-sodium seasoning products on the market. Dano's goals are to provide you with real flavors to make healthier food choices without ever having to sacrifice the real taste. Dano's includes low sodium, which is only 50 milligrams per serving. It has all natural, unrefined sea salt. There's no sugar, no MSG, no chemicals, and it's completely gluten-free. Also, there's 100% natural ingredients. Dano's Seasoning is the most versatile seasoning on the market. Grill, smoke, bake, create soups, sauces, marinades. You can also sprinkle Dano's on your eggs, your potatoes, maybe some pizza, maybe some pasta, and even while you're watching a movie, sprinkle some Dano's on popcorn. Heck, if you're crazy, why don't you put some Dano's on ice cream? Any food that exists, you can put some Dano's on it. Go to danosseasoning.com, use my promo code HODGEPODGE, capital H and a capital P in Hodgepodge. Guys, remember to do that. Just like the spelling of the podcast, a capital H and a capital P in Hodgepodge. You can try all three flavors, which include original, spicy, and hot chipotle right now today. It's damn good. Yum yum. Get you some. We are sponsored by Raise Energy, powered by the enhanced refresh technology. Raise Energy delivers with a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in the most often overlooked categories. Raise Energy targets focus, enhances your recovery time, improves clean energy levels, and boosts your stamina and hydration. Most importantly, each single can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates, which that gives you a smarter and more healthier option. You should not have to settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbs than you can count. Opt for the #1 fan-voted energy drink on the market today with Raise Energy. If you want to get yourself a can of Raise Energy, go to repsports.com, REPP sports.com. Use my promo code HPP1000, HPP1000 at checkout, and you will receive a generous discount. All right, welcome to the Hodgepodge Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Dylan Hodge, but you guys already know that. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter at I am Mr. Dylan Hodge. You can follow the podcast as well over on Instagram at the Hodgepodge Podcast. Wherever you did pull up to this podcast today, I really do appreciate you clicking on me and streaming it or downloading it or watching it over on the YouTube channel. I really do appreciate that a lot. You guys don't know what that means to me. But what we're going to do today is I just want to chat a little bit before we get into the middle of the pie of the podcast here. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been really struggling. I've been doing a lot of stuff. Let's see. So 2 weeks ago, I didn't put an episode up. I put an episode up. There was no guest. There was nothing like that. The reasoning behind that was I did not have enough time between my daily schedule and the podcast schedule. I had 2 people lined up. One canceled on me, and the other one we could not make a time work. He couldn't do, the time that we wanted to do, and I couldn't reschedule the time that would work for both of us. So I was like, you know what? I recorded an old episode of the Q&A episode, and I never released it, so I went ahead and put that up. And then last week, I had no time the week before to record for last Monday's episode. So I just went ahead and I had finished. I needed like one more of the DreamWorks movies, and I would watch them all. So I went ahead and I rented it on Apple TV, and I watched it. And we reviewed. That was the episode last week. This week, we're pretty good for the next little bit. So today's guest is a good one. We'll get to that in a second. Next week, it's not going to be next Monday, but I'm recording next week this podcast. So far, I'm recording it. Something could happen, but just a little update for you guys. Last week, I was in touch with a lot of people. I'm in the summer. I'm supposed to be recording a podcast with a big up-and-coming stand-up comedian. And this person, I'm not going to say he or her, I'm not going to give anything away, but this person has been involved with Joe Rogan and Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura and Bill Burr and Joey Diaz and all these great comedic geniuses. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear that one, and I'm really excited to set it up as well. So the podcast we're recording next week is actually going to be a really good one. I was actually reached out to because I put this person's song in my top songs of the year last year, the episode we recorded, me and Brooklyn do every year. So hope you guys stay around for those. Here's how today's episode is going to work. We're going to jump right into the podcast interview here in just a second. There's also going to be 2 movie reviews. I'm also going to review Scream, the new one. I'm also going to review it's going to be very short, The Batman. I saw that this weekend. But the reason I'm going to record very little of it is my review is because on Wednesday, I'm going to put up an entire spoiler episode for The Batman. So we did the spoiler review breakdown. We did that for Spider-Man. We did that for Avengers. So we're continuing that trend now with The Batman. So join me Wednesday, and we will bright and early, 1 a.m. is one time every podcast goes up, every Monday and Wednesday. So on Wednesday, join me up on Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, whatever afterwards. We'll see the Batman movie review spoiler breakdown. And those do have spoilers, so I just break down everything that happened from the beginning to the end. This movie is 3 hours long, so I probably won't remember a lot of the movie, but I'm gonna have some pointers. I'm gonna type some pointers in my phone or something like that. I'm gonna get it done. Also, wherever you are listening to this podcast, would you please hit that 5-star review and write a little review for me? Apple Podcasts, they've always done it. Spotify just now started doing it. If you're listening to this over on the YouTube channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell right beside the subscribe button. That's going to help you know when I do put up videos on YouTube every single time I do so. Without further ado, let's go right now to the introduction for today's guest on the podcast.
Hello everyone, it's Murr from Jokers. I'm here in my hotel room. There's my blankie. These things are not important. Here's what is. You've made a choice to listen to the Hodgepodge podcast. Not a bad choice, my friend. You are making good decisions in life. Subscribe now and anywhere that podcasts are available.
All right, on the podcast today, we've got my boy Dano from Dano's Seasoning. Dano is jumping on today. He's talking about getting on the TikTok train, what finally made him figure out that social media is very important, kind of after the COVID thing happened, and he could no longer sell Danos in person. He's also chatting about how negative comments slowly turned into positive comments on TikTok and on social media when they realized that this guy was actually legit. Growing the company, Dano's Seasoning, from $40,000 in a year to over $6 million in 2021. It's great. He started out selling in flea markets and festivals, and he chats about all that. He also chats about Dano's new flavor, hot chipotle, which is my favorite Dano's Seasoning flavor. Why you can't use too much Dano's. It kind of explains, it kind of dumbs it down for me, kind of how the seasoning works and how you can't use too much in the bottle when you use the bottle and you pop it, you actually don't use that much. He explains all that, the ingredients inside Dano's that kind of help it keep the mold of the seasoning. How he came up with the Dano puns like Dantastic, don't know till you Dano, and that's Dan good. All that right here, right now on the Hodgepodge Podcast. What's up, man? How you doing, dude?
Good. Hey, give me 1 second. Let me turn my TV off.
Good.
Used to be my kitchen table, and then when COVID happened, I moved the kitchen table out and set up my booth in my kitchen.
I got you. Hey, whatever works, huh? So you do that at your house? Is what you do all the videos at your house? Is that kind of where you do everything at?
Yeah. I got some grills outside. This is my little studio.
Your little studio. So do you now? Kind of not really jumping in here. I mean, I guess we've already started, but when you're doing the TikTok, are you doing like because you mentioned that you weren't tech savvy because we were going to do it over Zoom, and I said, you know what, let's just let's just FaceTime this thing. And so you mentioned you weren't too tech savvy. So are you doing all the TikToks and putting them up and editing them and all that, or you have people to do that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a video team. We got 2 camera guys, but you can kind of tell the ones that like they shoot, and then you can kind of tell the ones I shoot. But yeah, for the most part, probably 95% of my videos is just me. I got this little stand, and I just turn the light on, put my camera at different angles, shoot it, and then edit it. That's it.
So what was the reasoning behind jumping on TikTok? Was it just a new fashion thing?
No, pretty much with Danos, when I started the business in 2017 is when like I got my new packaging and stuff.
Right.
That's when I did my first little flea market and sold like $3,600 when I was expecting to do like 1,000. So it was like, okay, like I need to just travel and do these little flea markets and festivals and stuff like that. And so that's what I did literally for the end of 2017, all 2018 and 19. And I doubled my sales each year in revenue, so everything was great. I was on the right path. And basically March 2020, when COVID hit, and we were all the way up in Michigan. We drove 8 hours to go to this hunting show, and we're literally like an hour away, and then we get notified that it's canceled. And I was listening to talk radio like the whole drive, and I'm listening to all this, the world's going to change and all this stuff. And I sample food, and I go to these large festivals or flea markets or whatever, and then so all of a sudden it's taken away, and that was my source of income. Like I quit my job bartending and everything. Like I was full-time Danos. And so when that got taken away, it was literally plan B. What's your plan B? And that was social media. I mean, I was already doing Facebook. I think in March 2020, I may have had like 12,000 followers on Facebook, like 1,000 on YouTube. My TikTok was probably like 500, and Instagram was like 4,000. And I used to watch. I still do. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Right.
At this time, he was like, if you got a product, you got a brand, and you're not on TikTok, like it's the new like explosion in social media. And it was, he just kept saying, if you're not on TikTok, you're dropping the ball. And so, I would make my YouTube stuff, my Facebook stuff, and I was trying to do the TikTok, and it just wasn't working. I need to do $200 a day in sales online to basically hopefully survive, like the whole COVID thing. And I remember one day I did this, I was getting ready to not make a video, and I was just going to make these crab cakes. But I was like, you know what? I'm not having any luck. I'll just do it for the heck of it. And I did it like with one hand. Like I'm cooking with one hand and I'm shooting in the other. You know what I mean? Didn't put a lot of effort into it at all. And it got like, 300,000 views or something. And, it was controversial because I'm putting Danos on crab cakes.
Right.
And people were like, that's not how you make a crab cake. Where's the whole day? This and that. And so it like created this controversy. But my sales, I remember like that day, like my sales went up to like $800 in one day. Like 80% of the comments were negative. And then I was like, all right, well, I just need to keep making TikToks. So I remember, I go to the store, get all my groceries, get a 12-pack of beer, and I just start making TikToks. And then sales just kept kind of climbing, and slowly all these like negative comments started turning to positive comments because people were actually trying the product and getting their shipments, and everybody's like, wow, it really is good. Like that's why he says you don't know until you nano, because it really is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand what you're trying to do, because you're trying to run a business, trying to run it successfully, trying to show that, hey, look, I am going to be something one day, because it's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do that, but I'm also trying to survive. And it's like, damn, you got to work 2, 3, maybe even 4 jobs to live the dream that you want to do, and it's like, is it really going to happen? And then once it finally happens, because is it kind of where, because I always say this, and this is not a cocky answer. If it's yes, then it's yes. But my thing was, people would always ask me, do you expect the podcast to be where it was at today versus where it was at 4 years ago? And I say yes. Only reason I say yes is because I know the drive that I have. I know that no one's going to take this away. 6 people may listen. Just example. 6 people may listen, but guess what? Them 6 people are what's keeping me driving. You know, I mean, it's the same thing for you. You're going to make $200 a week to survive and to build a business. Well, that could look like chump change to someone like, Kevin O'Leary or some of them guys on Shark Tank. But that's that $200 that's keeping you driving. It's driving you. It's keeping you wanting to do it more. And you had a vision that you wanted to, you had a vision that, and now it may not be where it's at now in today's term for you, but at least it's way, way better than what it was, 4 or 5 years ago when you started it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think big. I was just watching something on the TV, and the guy was like, if you don't think big, you're never going to be big. You know what I mean? You have to visualize. You have to manifest it. You got to put it out there. And I remember like it was yesterday when the idea hit me. Because I've always been an idea guy. Okay, I got tons of inventions and like patents.
Just don't know how to make it work or where to go.
Well, I didn't have $1 million. All my ideas were like, well, I need $1 million.
Right.
Or I need to make a prototype that costs $20,000 just to make a prototype and stuff like that. And it's like, I don't know how to do, I didn't have any means of money.
Right.
Like when you got these big ideas, you got to have a way to start the business. Well, all my ideas were huge. And so I remember, like it was yesterday, going back to 2015 when I was a bartender, and it was like, every day I'm like, oh God, I gotta get out of here. I gotta change my life. I gotta figure it out. So every day my wheels are spinning about how am I gonna like own my own business, and I don't want to work for anybody. And then it was, it's so funny because I made this seasoning for like 15 years, and the only time I would use it was when I did like bone-in skin on chicken. And so I would always make this chicken, bring it into work with me, and people would eat it up. They'd be like, oh, how do you make that seasoning? And I'd be like, oh, I add this and this and this together. And, and then I'd bring the little bags in and, like, give it to people. Still not even thinking to package it and sell it. When, like, I'm thinking these huge ideas, and here it is, like, in front of me the whole time. And I remember when it hit me, I came in at 5 o'clock on a Monday. Our shit, we stayed up until 4 in the morning in Louisville. So I came in at 5 o'clock on a Monday, and there was literally one guy there. He wasn't drinking. He was a pool player, so he was just like killing time watching TV. And I was like, I got some of this chicken. And I was like, you want some? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And he took one bite. And after he took that first bite, I remember him kind of looking down, and he looked up at me. It was kind of like, man, this is the best chicken I've ever had in my life. Why aren't you selling this? And I was like, Danos.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, like, I had to work this 12-hour shift with this, like, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get out here so I can start Googling to figure out how I'm going to start this business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when, like, my aha moment happened. That was January 2015.
2015. So a dream from 2015 to 2022, and now you follow you on. I followed you since, I don't know, maybe since the first year of TikTok. Whenever I joined, I saw you doing the chicken thing, and I was like, because you know how many cooks are on TikTok. I mean, these acclaimed cooks, and I'm like, this guy just seems like he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he knows what he wants to do. Like, no offense, I'm just saying, like, it was just he got this season, and he's like, I like it. It's not Gordon Ramsay shit. It's what I want to do. And so I was like, I'm going to do that chicken. I did the chicken. I was like, well, this guy's onto something with this Danos. Not sure what it is. But no, dude, we when you guys, I was reaching out to you guys. I've finally become a sponsor of the podcast, which I'm so thankful for. But that just means I can get free Danos.
That's right.
No, man. So when you have 3 flavors now, you've got the original, you've got the spicy, and then now you come out with the new hot chipotle. Yeah, go ahead and show it out. Show it.
You got the original green cap. And you got the spicy, which is the original. It's just got added cayenne pepper.
Right.
And then you got the new chipotle.
Gotcha.
And I say it's a little bit hotter than the spicy, but it's still like,
You know, I was going to bring this up. I disagree. I disagree with the hot chipotle. I don't think it's spicy at all. Maybe it's my taste buds, but I sit there and was looking at the bottle and I was like, spicy, you know, I don't like too hot, but I like just enough spice where you can taste it. And I was like, okay, the spicy is spicy for me. Let's try the hot chipotle, see what it is. And I was like, is something wrong with my palate? I was like, the spicy is way, but I'll give you one thing, Dano, with the hot chipotle. It puts an extra sweetness in there with that heat, and it makes it like a honey barbecue type of heat. And I think and that's absolutely delicious in my opinion, man. I mean, obviously you can tell I eat a lot of food, but the hot chipotle is where it's at for me.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really good for like doing chicken wings or ribs or anything barbecue style. The chipotle is where it's at, and if you try it dry, because one of the biggest misconceptions about like seasoning and whatnot is everybody thinks like you got to cook. I cook sometimes not for a few days, but I gotta eat, and everything I'm eating, I sprinkle Danos on it, so you don't have to necessarily be cooking with Danos to use it, and yeah.
But the thing about Danos is as well, for people that don't really know what it is, you can't use too much of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could. I've never used that like you do. I saw a TikTok today. You put a line, you drew a marker or a line with a marker on the bottle, and you popped it like so many times. Like, look, you're using like a thimble full of what you'd be using when you're using this garlic powder over here, and you're using the whole bottle with that many pops. And it's actually true. So that makes maybe you've mentioned this before, but what makes the seasoning do that? Is there like a certain like secret ingredient that you have that just does that makes it like not come out that fast? Like I don't know. I want to know the scientific behind it.
Like Danos is low sodium, right?
Right.
Like the salt content in the bottle is right there. Well, salt is what's heavy and dense. Other than that salt in the bottle, all my other ingredients are fluffy. Plus, we got parsley in there, like some flake parsley.
Right.
I mean, if you saw what 1 pound of parsley looks like, it's like a lot of parsley. You know what I mean? It'd fill up a shoebox, like 1 pound of parsley.
So pretty much what you're saying is, let me make sure I got this right. Pretty much what you're saying is, with that little bit of salt that's in Danos, it's helping it come out a lot slower versus other ones that have so much salt in it that it's coming out so much stronger, or
No, it's just all the rest of the ingredients. The parsley, the rosemary, the garlic. So it's just like, and the parsley kind of lets it like be fluffy.
Okay.
So like this bottle right here, you can see where it's at right now.
Right.
If I kind of do like that, it'll settle. You can see it's gone down a little bit. But then if I do like that, it came back.
Got you.
Because you got that parsley in there that's kind of like just sits in between all the little granules of lemon and orange and garlic and onion, all that. So it's kind of like the parsley's like what kind of keeps everything fluffy.
Got you.
Plus, dried parsley has like zero flavor.
Right.
The awesome thing about parsley, what it actually does is it acts as like a flavor absorber. So like when I put this into butter, that parsley then it's dry. So once it gets wet, it expands it. Then it kind of latches onto everything, and it holds on all that flavor. Like when you put it on shrimp, like that parsley sticks on there with all the flavor.
Gotcha.
So it's like a flavor sticker. I don't know. Yeah.
Damn, dude, you're so intelligent with seasonings. It's great.
Hey, when it's your life.
It's your life.
I mean, I know more about salt than anybody. You know what I mean?
Have you read
99% of people.
I don't know if you're into book reading, but there's this book. I don't know the author, but it's a whole book, like a 300-page book about salt, like the history of salt, and I found it fascinating. So my next question would be for you, Dano, which would be, so you started the business in 2017, you said was when you made your first sale, right?
No, 2016.
Okay.
It's funny because started the business. Idea happened January 2015. Registered the business in April, and then I found out at the end of 2015 that I had to pay business taxes for something I never even sold. So I started out $175 in the hole for the business tax that I had.
$175,000?
What's that?
You said $175,000 or $175?
No, $175.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy shit, what did they do? That's like, good God.
It's just a business for owning an LLC.
Got you.
In Kentucky, I don't know if other states are the same, but you got to pay $170 a year. So that was my first mistake, registering the business when I didn't have anything to sell. But I just knew I was going to do this idea, so I was like, I'm going to take action. And so I didn't actually put Dano's into a bottle till like September, I think it was, in 2016. So it literally took me like a year and a half of product development, and, you know, because I didn't know anybody that could help me with anything when it came to figuring all this stuff out. Google was my best friend. Like, I just had to figure it out. And so, yeah, 2016, so I came out with let me show you the package.
Okay.
Grab it. Hang on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
2016, September. This isn't the actual label, but it looks just like it.
Okay.
You can see, like it said, Dano's. A lot of people were pronouncing it as like Danos or Don.
Got you.
There's no in between the O, and you know, it was just very generic looking. You know what I mean? Very like farmer's market looking.
Right.
And so that was like September 2016. And I got it into like a couple mom and pop grocery stores. I was probably in like 10 total grocery stores, not Kroger's or anything like that, just mom and pop stuff. And basically, I would go like demonstrate the product, like go cook some chicken or potatoes or whatever and sample it. And people would pick it up and read the ingredients, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's got sugar in it. No thanks." You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but the sugar like doesn't even cover the bottom of the bottle. Like, it's hardly any. Like, it actually on the nutrition panel it says 0 sugars, but on the ingredients it's the last ingredient because it doesn't even register on the nutrition panel because it's such a small amount.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I put it in there is because that's how I made my original recipe. I used to do a pinch of sugar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, after about a month of being in these stores, I figured out why people, you know, to me, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this is the best seasoning on the planet. Like, everybody needs to know about this. So if I'm out there, you know, I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into this product, and I don't want anybody to turn it down for any reason. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, well, I cut the sugar out. And then I actually reduced the sodium a little bit because it was 100 milligrams, and I reduced it down to 50. And so that's when and it took me about 8-9 months to do like the repackaging and stuff. So it's literally like a 2.5 year deal because it wasn't until June 1st, 2017 that I came out with not this packaging, but it looks just like it.
Right. Okay.
And so, and that's when I came out with that. And that was when I was like, all right, now I've done the work. And, you know, I built the awesome product. It's exactly where it needs to be. It's low sodium. It's no sugar, no chemicals. Like when I started it, I didn't start it to be low sodium, no sugar, no chemicals. It just happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was my niche that I carved out. And I'm like, it was so funny because when I actually put this original label, it says low sodium real small.
Mm-hmm.
But I called the store after I delivered like 8 cases to them, and I was like, hey, hang on to that. Don't put it on the shelf yet because I'm not sure I can say low sodium on the front of the label. Because I was like, why is no other company doing it? Why am I the only one using low sodium as a selling point? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm literally was the only one out there, and I'm like, I got to be doing something wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, all that, like, time of figuring stuff out. And then I went, like I said, in 2017, June 1st is when I got my new packaging. And so I went and did this flea market in town. And it was like, you know, costing $130 to set up. And I'm like, I need to sell $1,000. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I sold like $3,600. And I was like, okay. Like, you know, I figured out how to set my booth up better, how to demonstrate the product better. Like, as I went on, did like the next show and whatnot. And, yeah, man, that's, you know, I've had all these, like, moments like aha moments. You know what I mean? Like my first aha moment was the guy tried the chicken and he's like, "Why aren't you selling this?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Damn!" My second aha moment was basically that show. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll quit my job. I'll travel the country every weekend. I'll be somewhere putting Daniels on a toothpick. You know what I mean? And I'll just go sell my $3,000, $5,000, and I'll survive, and I'll keep putting the money back into the business. I'll be able to live off of a little bit of income. And so that was kind of like my second like moment. But the third one is the best.
Okay.
The third one was I did the flea market and I was successful. Well, the next show that I did was the Kentucky State Fair.
Okay.
And so this was like a 10-day show. I was there for 14-hour days, 10 days straight. Like I was a zombie. But I did what I had to do and I sold like $10,000. But the aha moment was when I remember this little old lady came up. And she's like taking a sample and she's eating it. I was sampling on like mashed potatoes and cucumbers and tomatoes because I was so new to it. I didn't want to like do raw chicken and all that stuff. I just wanted something that
right. Playing it smart.
Do efficiently. And so I remember this little old lady. She came up and she's like eating these mashed potatoes and she's like, "That's dang good." And I was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "It's low sodium, it's no sugar, no chemicals." And she's like, "No, it's dang good." And I was like, "Yeah, these bottles are $5. You get 2 of them for, whatever." And she's like, "You're not listening." And she's like looking at the sign behind me. She's like, "Damn good." And I was like, "Oh,
I got you."
Right. And then I was like, "Dano-mite, fantastic. You don't know till you Dano." And then, like, I put this together, you know what I mean? I'm like, I need to put all these sayings, like, in my booth, you know what I mean? And, like, that's how and that was like, okay, not only do I have the best seasoning on the market, I believe,
right,
but now you give me, like, this firepower of, like, the name Danos and all these damn puns. Like, it's meant to be, you know what I mean? It's like things happen for a reason.
Yeah. So there's so much I want to ask you, but the limited time that we have, Dan, so I'm just going to narrow it down here. So
yeah,
question would be, one, what I asked about the first time you had a sale, because I was wondered, the first year that you went on the market officially, started selling Danos, what did you make that year? A full 365-day year.
I told you I did. This was 2016, like September.
Right.
And I think I had like $16,000 was 2016 revenue.
Okay.
And then 2017 was like 40,000.
Okay.
Yeah, because I spent all that time. Like I didn't repackage until June 1st, 2017.
Right.
So I did basically like my $40,000 like in the last part of the year. So it was like $40,000, and then 2018 I did like 120. In 2019 I did like 210, and my goal was to do 500,000 in 2020. And I was off to an awesome start. I mean, I remember I was already through January and February, and I already had like $120,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was on my path. Like maybe I was going to do more than $500,000 in 2020. And then COVID hit, and then I couldn't make my money, and that's when I went social media, and so now we ended up doing $2 million in 2020, and then last year we did $6.2 million.
Jesus Christ! I was expecting like
It went like this.
I was expecting some kind of anticlimactic answer. That was like, holy crap, that was just, you were like, okay. I was thinking, yeah, we've pulled about 1.6. Did you pull out a 6 million digit? I'm like, holy crap. But
yeah, man. It's good seasoning.
It's good seasoning. That's right. It's damn good, man.
Good.
So, a couple more things and I'll let you go. Give you about 10 minutes. And we'll get you out of here, Dan. What was the feeling like when you were packaging it in like a little storage unit place, and then you go to this big giant, now you got this, you were texting me this morning, you said, man, we can do it today, I'm going to the office. And the office versus the office now versus the office then, what does that feel like?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, now we have two offices. We have over 50 employees now. We have a corporate office with I think there's about 20 people that work out of the corporate office.
Yeah.
And then we have the warehouse that I think we have about 12 people, and then we got a lot of people that work in different cities and stuff, like salesmen.
So when it comes to TikTok, you have any TikTok buddies that are on TikTok as well? Like I seen earlier, was it today or yesterday, you were doing the guy that does the cream cheese, or that says the cheese really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's just somebody I met through TikTok.
Really? Yeah.
He one day bought the seasoning, made a video, and was like, it really is good. And, he was just like, I bought it with my own money. He didn't give it to me. I tried it. It's awesome. And then we started, we do our little affiliate
right.
deal, pay him a little bit of money.
When you look at TikTok then versus now, obviously you have, I think we had like 2 million followers, something like that last time I checked. When you had 402 million, kind of what's the percentage of those that, I don't know, probably kind of a hard question, but what's the percentage of those 2 million versus how many of those people are like repeat sellers?
I think our we have repeat buyers. It's actually like a crazy number. It's like over 30%.
Okay.
Which that's like really good for any product,
Yeah.
Product based. I think our conversion rate's like 4%, which is crazy good. Most websites average like 2. And then, our return customer is like over 30%. So that's crazy good.
Crazy good. Last couple of questions for you. First question is, when you're doing these type of interviews, I don't know if you've done many interviews or many podcasts, but what's the one question that you're going to get in an interview, no matter what form of interview it is? The one question you're going to get as Dano.
What made me want to make a seasoning? Just what everybody asks. What made you want to start a seasoning company? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you think about it, like all my friends and stuff, when I told people, "Oh, I'm starting this seasoning company," like people were like, "Good luck."
But were you the type of person that would always say, "Okay, I'm starting a business," and would start it and then would fall off because it didn't make anything, or not? Or was it just like your first venture out? Because you mentioned you had all these ideas.
Yeah, well, I had one idea that I actually spent like $1,500 on. It was a disposable toothbrush idea.
Okay.
I wanted to. This was back in like my single days when I would crash on a buddy's couch or something, and I would wake up and be like, "Man, I wish I had a toothbrush." You know what I mean? So I had this idea: if you could put like a toothbrush into the size of like a chapstick, to where you like break the seal, open it up, pull it out, and then like attach it, and then you got this long toothpaste or toothbrush with like one-time application. You use it and throw it away. You know what I mean? But it sits in your pocket like a chapstick, like you don't even know it's there. So that was my idea.
That's not a bad idea, though. That I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, damn. Many times I've forgotten a toothbrush. That's not a bad idea.
Well, what happened is I spent $1,500 on market analysis with this company called Invent Health. And it was like, I literally got a paperback book that was, bless you.
No, thank you.
That was like 60 pages long.
Right.
Just breaking down my market and everything. And then, the next step was I needed like $16,000 to make a prototype. And that's where I was like, I don't have it. I remember talking to my dad. He's like, I can give you like a couple $1,000. You know what I mean? But I'm like, well, that ain't going to cut it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the only venture that I actually like tried to do, and I was like, I'm going to do this, and it's a great idea, and just I didn't have the money to do it.
Yeah. What's one question or one topic that you never get asked about, and you're like, I wish today these people would ask me about this question because I never get it, or it's on my mind all the time? Putting you on the spot here, Dano.
What's that?
I said, I'm putting you on the spot here.
I don't know. I guess, like, what's it really take to like be successful entrepreneur? You know what I mean? I think about that stuff all the time, and I'm like, people don't know how hard I grinded, and like, because I basically sacrificed like relationships and everything. Like, I was married to my business.
Yeah.
And like, people don't know like how hard it really was. Like, there for 3 years, like, I grinded. You know what I mean? Like, I cry myself to sleep sometimes. I mean, seriously, it was like a grind.
Yeah, no, I understand. Let me ask you this, because I have this problem still today, man, and because I'm still trying to make it. I'm still trying to bust through them walls and be something, break out of the. But sometimes I feel that, because growing up, we were middle class, low class, whatever you want to call it, and we were always, how are we going to pay today's bill? If we pay this, next week we're not going to have any food in the fridge or whatever. Sometimes it feels easier just to take a step back and just be like, you know what? I'm used to that. So why don't I just stop what I'm doing and just struggle the rest of my life? Because I've done it for 24 years and it's way hell of a lot easier than not making no money, still living at home, still trying to survive and take this business that I wanted and put it in the right direction. And it's also like, what damn direction do I go? Is it left? Is it right?
Yeah.
We just got deep here all of a sudden, didn't we?
I was gonna say, were you asking me a question?
No, yeah. The question was, did you ever feel that way where you just like, and I could give up and I won't be happy with myself, but at least it'll be easier.
Dude, the travel in the country, going to these little flea markets, it will wear you down, being on your feet all day long. Like, I never put a chair behind my booth. I never sat down. You know what I mean? I was always on my feet. Come home, go play golf, go out with friends, and then Wednesday comes around, I gotta pack up and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many times I was like, oh, I can just skip this one, but I was like, oh, you only got $100 in your bank account. Maybe you need to go do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all my money was always reinvested back into the product. Always.
Always.
I say one day I'm going to write a book called 100 Overdrafts Later, because it was literally like that. You know what I mean? It was, I have to go do this. I can't let myself down. You know what I mean? One day I won't have to work this hard. Is what I always kept telling myself.
Right.
One day I won't. I'll look back at this and like, it was all worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And right now, if you can think about it, was it worth it? You may not be as rich as you want to be. Shit, I don't even. But what I'm saying is, but are you happy where you're at now? Obviously, you want to get better, but from where you see a standpoint,
I'm very happy with it, because now that I look at it, I look at like everybody that works at Dano's loves it.
Yeah.
Like, we got this thing, me and my partner and I, like, we want to pay somebody that works at Dano's 20% more than they would get at that same job anywhere else, because we want them to be happy forever and be here and love their job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so just to like see like the family that we kind of have at Dano's is just like, I think everybody loves their job, and it's to me it's just what I do. I don't consider it a job. You know what I mean? People are like, well, do you ever feel like when you're making your videos that it's a job now? Not really. Like, I enjoy doing it.
No, I always say this, and I'm pretty sure you could, relate to it as well, is, can you imagine how hard you're going when you're not making anything versus the hard work you're going to do when you start making money? Like, that's the mindset that a lot of people should have, is the grind that you have not making money. Imagine that grind, what's going to happen in 10 years when you are making that money. That grind is going to just keep getting stronger and stronger.
To me, it's never going to stop.
Right.
We did $6 million last year. Now we want to do 40. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I always tell myself, me and my partner, we got like the same mindset. Like, we think about things the same. He's the wizard behind the curtains. I'm the one you see on TV. You know what I mean? And but we always say, and like, I've been saying this ever since the beginning, but I always say this is only the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it is. Like, yeah, we got a successful business now, but now we want to have 200 employees by the end of the year, not 50. You know what I mean? And then the next year we want to have 1,000. You know what I mean? We want to like dominate and disrupt the whole market, like take over and be the number one seasoning in the country.
Well, man, look, you guys got my vote for that. I love Dan. I've been talking about it on the podcast like years before I even had you on the show, before you guys become affiliate. Before you become sponsor of the podcast. So you guys got my vote. You can Dano, you are at Dano Seasoning everywhere, right? Because I looked up Dano's and there's another Dano's type of thing. I don't know what that is. It was like you got to go to Dano's Seasoning. I was like, okay, cool. So it's Dano's Seasoning on all social media, danoseasoning.com. Guys, if you want to do that, you can use my promo code. It's going to be down in the bottom. I got to plug that in real quick. That's going to be down in the bottom. Always on the episode is going to be the Dano's website with the promo code. Dano, I appreciate you joining me. That we did almost an hour. I didn't try to keep it that long, but I appreciate your time on here, brother. Really do.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.